Hey, this is Giacomo from Digital Arts. Today I'm going to be speaking to French illustrator Simon Landrein. He has an exhibition at Pocko Gallery and I'm going to be talking to him about his very, very cheeky comic strips. Simon, tell us about this series. I don't get it.
Actually, there is no series. There's like a few series that we put together. Most of them are screen prints, which is the medium I kind of like at the moment when I want to create print in real life instead of like on, digital files and stuff like that. It's basically based on comics that I like to do. It was just a selection of 6 of them, six I really like, and so I just made them as a screen prints. And some other are screen print that I did myself, wanted to learn the technique as well. The last series, if we say that, as I said, there's many series in this exhibition, is just original that I do when I've got like spare time. So that was more like a compilation of things I've created over the last year. Yeah.
Would you say there's a connection, like a common theme? Because I can see some examples of people spying on each other and then getting punished for it.
Yeah, there are some themes like that are coming back, and it's more or less about always like finding a twist of the plot that I set up. The thing is, most of the time I just like to have fun with the narrative aspect, because when you watch a comics, it's presented as a comics, you expect the narrative, you expect a story. Because there is only 6 panels, you can't explain that much, and there is no words as well most of the time, so it can be very abstract and very confusing, which I kind of like. And so that's about the title of the exhibition. I don't get it because a lot of people are telling me that, which I kind of like, because you get confused. That means you have to think a little bit about what you're looking on. It makes, I think it's just what I want is to have people to be a bit curious maybe.
You said people get confused, and one of my questions is, when you have a gallery, an exhibition like this, is it nice to see people's reactions in the flesh instead of what you imagine it might be like when they look at it on Instagram?
Most of people who come talk to you, usually when it's in real life, they just say nice things. But there is no these boundaries of the digital world, so where people can say whatever they want. So.
It's a very distinctive style, so like 6 panels, like you said, no speech. Where did this style come from? Is it something you've always been working in, or you inspired perhaps by a famous, maybe French cartoonist perhaps?
I think it was a mix of, well, that's probably a long story. At the time I was working in an animation studio, so I was doing a lot of storyboards, but also I was doing a lot of keyframe, for commercials, and I was the guy who will do mostly like complex, design and stuff like that. And at some point we had the job for a bank, and we had a lot to cover, so we had to find a style that was very simple. So I came back with a very naive style, which at that time I really didn't like that much, because I was looking at that, those guys just do like naive stuff, I don't like it anyway. But then I figured out that it's very easy to use to produce a lot, and so to tell little stories and stuff like that. And so my frustration was also at the time that I was working for commercials a lot, so basically you can't inject like any edgy subject into it. Maybe a bit of violence, a bit of sexual aspect as well. So I came back with like, let's try to have like a sort of storyboard with no words, and let's see what you come up with. So that was a mix of all the things.
How do you actually create your pieces? Do you always have an idea in your mind, or do you just sit down, get the sketchbook out and just doodle?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, it's about the mood and the things I think about. It's not that well thought, to be honest. It's like, sometimes I have got this idea, I want, for example, this character to go to point A to point B, you know what I mean? And I'm like, how can I narrow that down, And so and along the way I find some funny idea. Sometimes it doesn't work and I left it, and sometimes in like 5 minutes I found a thing I like. But I don't sketch that much things nowadays, because I've been working on it a lot, so I go like straight away, like on the computer or on the paper as well.
What programs and software do you use?
I'm using Photoshop mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm an Adobe guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just because it's been like years that I'm using it. So.
Why are you interested in voyeurism and perhaps, you know, kind of erotic kind of humor? Would you say it's a French kind of thing, or just something that comes naturally to you?
No, I don't think it's French especially, but I think it's more like, I don't find anything edgy about erotism or anything. I think actually it's a kind of a good icebreaker. Just because it gets people interested very quickly. Yeah. And then it's just about like mixing that up with weird stories, like spooky stuff sometimes, or like even scary, like a sort of a horror movie feel, or like people die. So
So what you do is very much based on your feelings. You don't really have a plan to say, oh, next year I'm going to try this kind of style, or 5 years I'm going to change into this kind of method.
Basically I like to maybe do more stuff for real, like if it's like print or painting and things like that. Because as I said, like I worked a lot on the computer, so I'm just trying to balance that out with like a bit of computer, but also having more stuff in real life.
You are now part of Pocko. You've been part of Pocko maybe over a year now.
Yeah.
Pocko luckily has a gallery where you can show off your amazing work. How would you describe your relationship with Pocko?
So far, so good. Yeah. No, lately it's been good. We have few works like lined up, and so no, everything is fine.
Do you feel you both share the same kind of vision and attitude?
I'm very happy with the feel and like the look that Pocko has. I don't feel like the fifth wheel or something like that. So I think it's good. Yeah.
Thank you again for this interview today, Simon. I hope the exhibition goes well. When does it finish?
On February, I think.
Wow. Okay, it's a long time. Do you think you'll come back before the end?
No.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Cheers.